Mr. Littlepage. If not, we're going to continue so we can get the candidates going. I've been there. It's a grueling long week and 2 days. It was a week and 3 days. It's grueling. And these candidates have been running for quite a while now. I'm going to get my directive right here from Ms. Marcia. Mr. Littlepage was here, and dynamic young man had to leave. He had a prior engagement. So the organization of record is apologizing to him. And if he gets something, as if they do this, they will rebroadcast this. They will allow him to get his speech in. Okay. Are you ready, Mr. Tate? Yes, you are. Welcome into the Forum of Record, the Citizens Forum of Record, presented to you by Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, where Dr. Larry McCree Jr. is the pastor. I do want to say that, just for disclaimer, that the church is not endorsing candidates. The church is merely allowing the community to use the location and the Church of Record as a community gathering. I will say that I was at a forum in Hoover, Alabama, where they're also having races all around the state of Alabama, because they want municipalities and elected school boards and city councils to run together. That is by state law. That's the first time. So it's very active in places like Pleasant Grove, Fairfield, Midfield, Lipscomb. We had a forum at a church in Brighton, a forum at South Shades Crest Baptist Church with Hoover, a forum at Guiding Light Baptist Church, a forum at Pastor Wesley's church at Greater Shiloh. And the clergy has agreed to open their doors to the community to host civilized communications and informational sessions with the community. No church is endorsing. I want to make that very clear from the organizers. They're just allowing members and others in the community of record to utilize the space. So thanks. Can we give it up for those people who have done that allowed, and we're not afraid to utilize just the community space? I know a lot of people often complain that churches don't allow anybody in after Sunday, and if it's not their members, they can't come, and if they didn't tithe, they're not allowed. So this year has been different, and it's not just been in this community, it's been in all communities around the counties of record, not just this county. Shelby, I don't know what that is and how that happened. Maybe they had a big meeting about it. But I want to thank those locations, the churches of record, for allowing community to utilize the space. At this time, welcome into the Forum of Record today at, again, Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, the mayoral questions and the mayoral candidates. And again, we will go over it. You will have approximately 30 seconds to introduce yourselves. And tell us your platform, just 30 seconds in your opening and 30 seconds in your closing. You will be allowed up to 2 minutes to answer. We're going to do a speed round with a minute toward the end, and then you'll give us your parting shot. You've been through this many times with me before, and it's good to see you. I know you're busy. Again, campaigning, folks, is hard. That last swing, that last week, I've been there. I don't even believe it. You don't even recognize yourself. You lose weight. As Mr. Franklin said, he got a little darker. He got tan. He's out in the sun knocking on doors. And certainly these folks have been to many, many forums. And can we give it up for our candidates? Because they have been out here and they've been diligent, and I have watched this group, and I'm very honored to be before all of them who've decided to get before this community to run. We're going to go in alphabetical order and introduce the candidates at this time. The ones that are not here, Ms. Scales had a prior engagement. Ms. Marilyn James Johnson is not here, and Mr. Randall Woodfin is not here. And those were the notes from the organizers. At this time, we will start with Ms. Gavan. I'm sorry, Mr. Africa has joined us. Mr. Africa, Ms. Gavan, Mr. Rice, Mr. Russell, and Mr. Woodson. Mr. Africa, 30 seconds and your opening statement.
Okay. Good evening or good morning. Excuse me. Good morning. I'm Kamal Africa, born and raised in Smithfield, former neighborhood president in East Thomas. I have an extensive background. In fact, you can put all the candidates combined. They cannot touch my 40 years of community service, getting things done, like forming a merchant association, $3 million for Smithfield. Langford hired me to make sure he had 3 votes on the county commission. That is why you have new schools in Jefferson County. I got Bobby Frank Cherry put away after 39
15
years.
seconds.
I got Bobby Frank Cherry put away after 39 years of walking free. That was the last bomber of the 16th Street Baptist Church. Richard Arrington did not call anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gavan.
Just one point.
Wandalyn Gavan, do you have your mic?
Can you? Oh, thank you. One point of personal privilege, I would not be here if it were not for men such as the great Honorable Dr. Bishop Calvin Woods. So I certainly extend my condolences, and I think it is most apropos to do so in this house of God. For those of you all who do not know, if you failed to get the memo, missed it on Facebook, didn't see it on Twitter or Instagram, I am State Representative Wandalyn Lily Gavan. I stand here proudly today to be the first woman ever endorsed by the Jefferson County Citizens Coalition to head the ticket, to head the ballot for mayor. So with that, endorsements don't vote, but people do. But with that being said, I'm running on a platform of CPR, crime, to conquer, control, combat, P, people protection and progress, R,
10 seconds.
Reinvest, restore, and revitalize our neighborhoods. Now, our neighborhood advisory participation program, and for crime, certainly we're going to deal with community policing by our Birmingham Protect and Serve Community Policing Act, and our children, your child, our child program, where we're going to revamp the programs for our children in this city. I am State Representative Gavan. Thank you.
Mr. Brian K. Rice.
Hello, I'm Brian K. Rice. And I'm running for mayor because I'm extremely concerned about us having an effective government in the city of Birmingham. I'm extremely concerned about ethics in City Hall. I'm extremely concerned about public officials selling properties to themselves and to their friends. That's why my #1 focus is ethics and the economy. I am committed to the underserved. I will never abandon the under-resourced neighborhoods. I will continue to invest in the other areas, but we must uplift these other areas so we can create jobs across the city,
seconds.
opportunity across the city, and a lot more. So just want to say, vote Brian K. Rice, August 26th.
Mr. David Russell.
First of all, let me thank you for having this opportunity. Let me also give a prayer to Mr. Calvin Wood, because I'm not a native from Birmingham. I'm a native from Livingston, and I learned a lot of my civil rights actors through Reverend Calvin Wood, so my condolences still go out to him. But my name is David Russell. Again, I told the moderator that I might have to leave a little earlier because I do have another engagement. But my main concern is dealing basically with some of the economic problem that we have in the city of Birmingham. And one of my main goals, the first day when I'm elected, if I'm elected, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put boots on the ground as officer that would be able to
5 seconds
to put our kids in the proper perspective. Cause they just passed a bill that if a child missed 8 days, that he.
Time. Mr. Woodson.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
One moment. Yes.
Hello, I'm Frank Woodson. Glad to be with you here today. I'm a son of the Most High God. I've been transformed by God and am being transformed. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I've got experience in economic development, community development at the municipality level, so I work with 2 mayors. I've got experience working with leadership. I've got experience working with regional economic development. And that's what we need here in Birmingham.
15.
We need someone with experience of working with leaders, effectively working with other leaders to get things done. I do that. I'm looking forward for the opportunity for you all to learn more about me and to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson. Our first question, what's important for our city right now? What's important for our city right now? Mr. Africa? 2 minutes, go.
The most important thing, which you all must understand, is that America is facing a Mad Max syndrome. Black folks are on the menu. You're not sitting at the table. You must not put another unconscious person in that mayor's seat, even if you don't pick me. You better pick somebody that has a consciousness. Security is a major problem right now. You're not going to have growth and business development, nor people wanting to live in your city if you don't have safety. So my plan will be to get 500 to 800 patrol force on horseback, foot, motor patrol, to build Black Wall Streets in Ansley, 5 Points West, Smithfield, the little business district of Pratt and Wylam. I drove through Eastlake and Woodlawn the other night. In fact, I called Brian and told him about it. It's disgraceful that all the money goes to that side of town and nothing to the west side of town. Out in the northwest side of town, when my parents moved out there across from Sun Valley School, they had a grocery store. They had a movie theater. You elect me for mayor, I'll make sure we get things done in our community without apology. I'll do what Maynard Jackson did in Atlanta, what Coleman Young did in the good days of Detroit, and what Marion Barry did for black businesses in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Ms. Gavan.
Would you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am, I would. What's more important for our city right now?
Did you say more or most?
Most or more? What's most or more important for our city right now?
For someone who has worked in city government, worked for several mayors, actually working in administration, working at the Public Works Department, putting myself through law school on the back of a garbage truck, being a city employee, listen, the realization is we're here. We're 1 week out from an election. And the reason I pause is this: we know the issues. You drove here, you see the issues. The Birmingham city lacks administration. You can roll all of these issues up that everybody's talking about. At the end of the day, there needs to be an administrator in City Hall who, first of all, cares about you, who understands the role and the undertaking, who understands the importance of when troubles come within a city. You can't move just when the troubles are coming. You already need to be prepared before they get there. It's simple. Birmingham lacks an administrator who can get the job done. My plan is one that is easy. I'm going to work with the neighborhoods. I'm going to sit down and we're going to develop a plan for each neighborhood. We're going to fix the potholes. We're going to pave the streets. We're going to pick up the paper. But doing it and not having a plan to keep it clean, once you do it, it's for naught if you don't. We must come up with a plan of action that's going to work for the city of Birmingham, in which all people, all citizens can participate. Again, we know the issues. And as a matter of fact, I'm sick or tired of hearing about it. I want to hear about the real solution and the plans to move Birmingham forward and to make Birmingham great again. Simply, as I've said, make it make sense, Birmingham. We know what the issues are. The question is who's going to solve the problem and fix the issues for a long-range plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brian K. Rice, what's most or more important for our city right now?
We are in Pratt City right now. We're less than 1 mile away from 1430 Pratt Highway. We have citizens who live on that contaminated land. We need to have that land tested to make sure we're not doing the same thing we did several years ago with Oliver Robinson. That same property, it's things like this that bother me. We've given $5.3 million to buy those 52 lots just less than 1 mile away. We've given the developer $2.9 million of our cash, another $3.9 million of our cash, and we have no development less than 1 mile away. We must stop this spending of our money and no development being completed. Mayor Larry Langford said, we're tired of having these groundbreakings. And he was talking about that when we was talking about Railroad Park. He said, it's the first time we're not doing a false groundbreaking. We're doing false groundbreakings over at 1430 Pratt Highway, Ramsey McCormick and Inslee, the Crossplex. Everywhere where our communities are, there are false groundbreakings. We must hold our city officials accountable. I am committed to ethics. I am committed to making sure we invest in the underserved. But then in addition to that, we've been having a lot of conferences, a lot of debates, a lot of forums, and we're only talking about one side of the city. We must understand that there's a city of white people too. There's a city of others. We must be honest about what is going on in Birmingham.
30 seconds.
And I just want to be honest with you. Vote for Brian K. Rice because I'm committed to learning the history and applying it to make sure we do the right thing going forward. We've been electing politicians and they've been repeating the same failure over and over and over.
15.
Vote someone else. Vote Brian K. Rice.
Mr. Russell?
Yes, the first thing I would do is I would have Mayor Larry Langford name placed on the Crossplex. I think that's a project he started and well deserved. They're just like the amphitheater. The amphitheater is one of the engines that should have been out to the Crossplex. And the most important thing I would like to see, I would like to grow the city of Birmingham. As you one time, you know that Birmingham was the largest city. Now I think it's number 4. Now what I would do when I become mayor, I would take an Annette, Midfield, Lipscomb, Brighton, everything from down through 280. Places like Dolomite, those areas. I would involve in putting all those areas into the city, because why you want to put them into the city? Once you become again a number 1 largest city in the state of Alabama, all the federal dollars still are going up to Huntsville, Alabama. They will return down here. This is how the city of Birmingham was able to collect money for the Social Security building, the bank, and also the FBI building. We can grow the city so we can get the revenue. I would bring those cities in, because every student you bring into the city, the city of Birmingham get $12,000 to grow the city. They also would get money on what we call the number of rooftop you have in your city. That's an economic base. You get money on royalty that you bring into the city. So that would give the city of Birmingham an engineer. Third thing I would
30
do.
seconds.
Third thing I would do, I would make sure that we have parole office on the street for all our kids, because they just passed a rule for kids missing 8 days out of school. That kid we put in reformatory school. I would make sure day one that all the kids that had not attended
15
school, they would be able to have a patrol officer to make sure they get to school. For several reasons. First reason, when a kid attends school, again, like I said, you get $12,000. You get other money for other things like lunchroom money. In terms of school.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Woodson?
Tess. The biggest challenge, problem that Birmingham has right now is leadership. Just a failure of leadership. Where are we going as a city? That's the question. In my mind, Randall Woodfin is not the problem. He's not killing anybody. He's not throwing trash out his window. The reason why he has to go is not because he's the problem, but because he's not the solution. We need a leader that is the solution. A leader that's going to build a team. I'm not going to go pick up trash. I'm not going to do no administration. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to hire those people. And I'm going to hire the best of the best to come in each area, and they will be in front of the camera, and talking about what they're doing to improve it. The needs in Birmingham right now, I have experience working in municipalities in leadership and economic development, director of economic development, director of community development. I've worked with presidential administrations in community economic development and government. I know what needs to happen. We're going to clean up Birmingham, and we're going to clean it up immediately. We've got some 20,000 vacant houses. We've got some 40,000 vacant lots, and right away we're going to reduce that within the first year. We're going to put in a real adopt-a-lot program. So if you take care of that lot on the left or right side of your house for 6 months to a year, we're going to give it to you. And we're going to start removing that off, and people will care for it.
30 seconds.
We've got 20,000 vacant houses. We're going to use the land bank to clean those houses up, to take away the acquisition cost. And if you put $60,000 to $80,000 into that house, that will be your mortgage. That means affordable housing for the next 30 years. We're also going to use contractors, local contractors, black contractors to do the work, and they're going to hire our young people in an apprenticeship program with a nationally recognized program. We got to have solutions that really work and do multiple things.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson. Point of clarity, and Richard Arrington had one of the biggest annexation plans in the history of the state. And when the tax base was moving out, he masterfully went in and roped in unincorporated areas. At this time, you are number 4. The city of Birmingham has been number 1 since the 1800s. Then it went to number 2, then it went to number 3, and then it went to number 4. Part of that was because of annexation. Huntsville is now number 1. Mobile County became number 2 because they went in and pulled in Arrington. I called it pulling in Arrington. They went in and got a bunch of unincorporated areas, and they built their city, and now they've got those voters, and so now they went to number 2, and the Montgomery area went to number 3. Birmingham's number 4, and the number 6 city is Hoover, Alabama. So things are changing rapidly, but annexation is real. But one point of clarity you need to know about annexation: you cannot rope in Lipscomb, Brighton, Fairfield, or any Midfield or any other city unless they say they want to be wrapped in, and then you too need to incorporate their debt. The Jefferson County Commission has tried to do it. The city of Birmingham has had those talks in the last 20 years. That was a point of clarity for the audience. At this time, the next question is building new homes in commercial spaces. Building new homes in commercial spaces. Ms. Gavan, what is your plan to build new homes in commercial spaces in the city of Birmingham?
I have a plan. Listen, first of all, before we can talk about building new homes, we must deal with the rent, R-E-N-T. We have individuals right now that are paying more in rent than they can barely afford to live. We need a rent moratorium here in the city of Birmingham. Not everyone's going to be a homeowner. But since we're talking about home ownership, we must focus in on not just affordable houses. In order to build a livable community, you must have affordable and you must have market rate. Why? Because people deserve choices. We can talk about land banking all we want to. I was one of those legislators. For the last few years, we've passed every kind of land banking bill it is. The problem is that the land banking is moving too slow and it's not working up to snuff. But in order to just build a real city, we've got to build communities. Birmingham has not had a real housing development built since Oxmoor, and a portion of that is in the cutoff. We need comprehensive plans that deal with clusters of housing. She mentioned Hoover. Hoover is building 5,000 houses, but they're building communities. Communities are houses that are at least 50 to 100 to 250 in nature that build clusters of housing. Why is that important? Because if you're building clusters, you're building families. Single family housing breeds people. Birmingham now needs people because we are down so many people because they've left. We are number 4 behind Huntsville, Mobile, and Montgomery. But my plan will be a plan to build houses, to work with the black contractors, but other contractors, but also to make building housing in our neighborhoods an incentive to those who want to do business in Birmingham. We're going to rebuild some developments, but we're going to figure out how to use the land base that we have to build housing developments. This is the simplest way to do it. I don't care who else comes behind me, but unless you can build housing developments that's going to bring people, you're not going to build these communities back. Thank you.
Mr. Rice, building new homes in commercial spaces. What is your plan?
Testing. Okay, so from 2019 to about 2025, we've seen probably thousands of apartment units and lofts be renovated in downtown Birmingham or built brand new. They were using low-income housing tax credit to attract investors, new market tax credits to attract investors. They're using the federal opportunity zone to attract investors. They're using the commercial downtown development authority or downtown redevelopment authority. They're using all these incentives. We need to make sure these incentives also get to these other areas where we also need to develop as well. In places like West End or places like Bush Hills, the federal opportunity zone was removed for 10 years. 2018 to 2028, it's 100% write-off. It's taken away from the majority of our communities, taken away from West End, taken away from Central Park, taken away from Fairview, taken away from Inslee, taken away from Wylam. And everyone knows that one single page slide on every zip code in the city, signed off by Mayor Randall Woodfin, sent to Governor Ivey, and then we're locked out for 10 years. So it's very important that we focus on incentives in our communities. In 1990s, the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce, they created a list of about 20 different ideas on how to add incentives to housing for housing development. All the ideas are out there. We just have to be intentional about making sure they come into our communities. We also have been seeing NCRC with the development at 1430 Pratt Highway, the development in Bellevue, the developments in Woodlawn. They are using our tax dollars and they're giving them to out-of-state developers. And then locally, we are our own developers not getting access to this money. And most of these developments are not being complete. So we need to be intentional about investing in local business who are intentional about building more housing in our city so we can keep those tax dollars in the city and we can build more housing here.
Thank you. Mr. Russell?
Let me go back and kind of iterate a few things I said about annexation. First of all, I left off Forestdale. All those communities that I named by annexing to the city of Birmingham, all those people pays garbage fee. We passed 12 years ago a referendum that Birmingham would not be one of the cities that pay garbage fee. Birmingham and Bessemer are the only two cities that don't pay a garbage fee. We passed a referendum that Birmingham would not be able to charge the citizens of Birmingham a garbage fee unless it get approved of the people. Second of all, you're talking about building homes. The first thing I would do is everybody that come to work with the city of Birmingham, I would give them $15,000 and a piece of land. Those veterans that on the street, all those houses that you demolished down, I would utilize that material from those houses and build every veteran, whether you under the bridge, out of the bridge, whatever you are, I would build them a home because everyone knows that if you've been to the wall, sometimes you come back, all of your marble not in the right range. So I would utilize all of those funds in terms the material that come from these houses that we just tear down and take the lumber somewhere. You can get enough material from those houses that you tear down to build every veteran a home in the city of Birmingham. Second of all, those houses he's talking about for the homeless people, they don't even have a bathroom here. I would do the same thing for them. We call them dog houses. So the city of Birmingham can really grow. Also, I would utilize all the resources that we have in terms of putting in a package. Make sure that the citizen of Birmingham would be the first-class citizen that we might live in. Again, every person that comes to work on my administration, city employees, I would give them $15,000 and a piece of land and build a house for them themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Mr. Woodson.
Test 1, 2. I really want to take my time and say this right here. My focus immediately would not be new housing. It would not be new businesses and the like. It would not, because in the western, northern, and parts of the eastern part of town, the poverty rate is about 34%. We've got 32,000 seniors. Most of them are living on fixed income. We've got retired city employees. They're not going to afford a new house, and we're not going to build new houses in 66 of the 99 neighborhoods because the market won't sustain it. To build a new house, you're not going to build it under $180,000. Miss Millie's not going to move to $180,000 house. We've got to take care of our most vulnerable. We have working class families, you all. We need to spread these lots out. We're not going to build lots in Bellevue Heights and all of that. It's taken them 20 years to build 10 houses for something like $12 million. They don't sell. The market doesn't support it. Now, here's the other things. We're not going to deal with the food deserts, the grocery stores, until we stabilize the communities. If the housing units are in decline behind Parkway East, Highway 78, over here on Highway 75, over in Bellevue, if they're on decline, then the businesses aren't going to come there because you're on decline. They want to be a part of a renaissance. They want to have a plan for the redevelopment of Parkway East and what's going to happen with the housing and how we're going to take 20,000 houses and bring 60,000 people back. They want to be a part of something. I was a HUD housing developer during 2008. I know what I'm talking about. All this sounds good. We've got to build our business corridors with an economic development strategy to recruit new small businesses.
Time.
We'll do that.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson. Also, and our next question, Mr. Caff, I'm sorry, my problem. Okay, not intentional, Mr. Africa. I am, yes, sir.
A lot of us have some similar ideas, and they're absolutely right, all of my colleagues up here. And particularly, Mr. Woodson, you are not going to sell a person that's making $15 and $18 an hour a $180,000 house. It's not realistic. Brian talked about the federal opportunity zone. There are two people sitting at this table that fought for Wylam, Pratt, downtown Inslee, 5 Points West. Those areas were excluded from the federal opportunity zone. I met Brian 2 years ago. He was already working on it. We got together. Brian took the case to court. I was just support in terms of doing law research. Nobody else, none of our leadership sitting here or anywhere else spoke up about it. We asked them to speak up about it. They didn't even use their platform to speak up about it. Why you need federal opportunity zone? Because it gives an incentive financially and tax rebates for you to build commercial as well as residential. We have to get the minimum wage up beyond where it is now for people to, and I would consider affordable. I would think if it was like from 80 to 135,000, I think that's fairly reasonable. But we've got to get the income levels up. Number one is safety.
30 seconds.
If it is perceived that the community is fairly safe and clean, you can get people to start coming back in. The Regional Planning Commission had a plan back in 2017 that was presented to the current administration. And guess what,
15
y'all?
seconds.
When the current administration got in office, they ignored that plan. I will revisit that plan. I know the director very well. We're fraternity brothers.
Time. Mr. Woodson, would you like to rebuttal? And Mr. Rice, would you like to rebuttal? Since your names were mentioned, you have 30 seconds. If you wish to take that time, that's fine. If you wish to pass, just say pass.
I would want to say this right here. The housing that I'm talking about and the land bank. The land bank, y'all, it depends on who's leading it. It's just a tool. It doesn't fix anything. It's the people. So we got to use
15
these tools.
seconds.
And if we don't get people back in these communities, then our churches will suffer, the rest of the remaining businesses will suffer, and it will all collapse around us.
Thank you, Mr. Rice. Rebuttal. Since their names were called, Mr. Russell's, yours was not. We're just allowing them to rebuttal because they were directly mentioned. Mr. Rice.
And just to add to the federal opportunity zone thing, so program, it's in place from 2018 to 2028, so we've lost that opportunity. But under the new beautiful tax bill, it's coming back at the end of 26, the beginning of 2027. So we must be prepared to make sure the right communities are included. We cannot have someone who works at UAB and works in the Economic Development Department and selected everything around UAB. We must be intentional about making sure it is fair across the city.
Thank you. Rehabbing, expanding. better utilizing our existing homes and our existing storefronts. Rehabbing, expanding, better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts. What is your plan to work with existing businesses, existing home owners, and keeping the rehab going and expanding? Let's start with Brian K. Rice.
So I'm thankful that Wonderland Gavan brought up the other day, State Representative Gavan brought up the Morehouse SGA Friends. We have seen a lot of deals done at City of Birmingham that is going to Atlanta that just don't make any sense. So let's talk about existing homes. We've seen $500,000 go to Greymont and College Hills to do minor repairs on homes to a group called House Proud Atlanta. We've seen the same thing in Wylam, a group called House Proud Atlanta getting $420,000. We've seen the same thing with the Crossplex. Morehouse Friends get the $1.4 million no bid contract for the Crossplex. We're seeing this with the Atlanta Drone Company. Friends out of Atlanta are getting these deals. So we must invest in local first. And anything that's related to housing, that does two things. We get our housing developed, but then also we're building up local contractors. We're building up local businesses. We give more opportunity here. One of the things that I would do in the first 100 days is meet with as many business owners as possible across the city. So call it all business owner meeting in the first 100 days. Those in the thriving areas and those in the neglected areas. And we must figure out a way to remove any interferences that are stopping development. We have to restore these buildings so we can put businesses in there, so we can figure out a way to increase the living wage in this city. We have to increase how much we're making. We're talking about affordable housing, but we're poor. We're so used to our poverty that we're celebrating demolition. Let's celebrate development.
Mr. Russell.
First of all, I had the opportunity for 2.5 years to work on the Birmingham Redevelopment Task Force. And those are some of the things that came out of the Redevelopment Task Force. Now, when I'm elected, I'm going to take downtown ends, make it like a Black Wall Street. I'm going to take the Nixon building and put it into a building where we can be able to house at least a city council or county commission in those buildings. Because then I'm going to turn around and name 19th Street after Eddie Kendrick, Avenue I, and we'll name it after Paul Williams. And when we're going to do the thing where we're going to celebrate those two guys. You know, those are guys are formula of the temptation. So we not utilizing our resource as we should do. So that there's a great opportunity for us to put money back down to ends, because all the development money that was down to ends, it was moved to Woodlawn. Council of School money was moved to Woodlawn. They supposed to have put $4 million into a council of school, which they didn't do. And what I want to do, since we have around 2,200 kids who was in the foster care, I want to take council of school and turn it to a foster care, something like the art museum, where kids can come and stay and live. They don't have to be living all over town. And people say, why is that? We need to do that because in the city of Birmingham, you have about 72% of head of household are female. So this would give the female some relief. Every child, every police station, fire station, I would make sure that those stations would hire at least 5 students from the public school of Birmingham. And therefore, they would be able to give them a job so they can help those parents to pay their bill. So this is a great opportunity for us to branch out, move back into the black community, and make things happen. 15. Make things happen in Ensley, Wiseland, North Birmingham, and those Pratt City, those other areas. The money that was taken from those areas went over to the south side.
Mr. Woodson.
Here's what we do with the businesses, abandoned buildings and the like. I currently have a partnership on one of my organizations with the Small Business Administration of the U.S. We also have partnerships with GEDI over at Auburn University, Government Economic Development, with the EDAA, some other folks that work in economic development. We'll come to each section of town and we'll look at them to see what their unique problems or challenges and concerns, and we will develop an economic growth strategy for Parkway East, for Roebuck, for Arkadelphia and these vacant buildings and the like. Cities don't develop buildings and that kind of deal So we'll bring the landowners together. We'll see what can be aggregated, and we will create a plan for Highway 78. We will create a plan, but also for 5 Points West and for Inslee. Now, that plan won't be for that economic area alone. It has to be for the whole area. So that means that we've got to attract dollars around it for infrastructure, for community development as well. And now you're inviting them to a movement. We'll bring in real economic developers, not just staff guy that works somewhere. We'll complete projects. And we know how to recruit businesses. Right now, we're not recruiting businesses. Our teams will go to the shows that are all around the country to recruit businesses. We understand why the Crossplex has failed, because we promised when we recruited all of those businesses to the Crossplex.
30 seconds.
We promised them that we'll have an anchor of the Crossplex and that we would have an amphitheater over here, and then you can bring your barbecue restaurants and the rest and fill in. What they secretly did was when they heard we were going to put a Crossplex on the west side, they plucked
seconds.
it, put it over here. And that's why all of those restaurants backed out. They betrayed us on the western side of town. They didn't communicate with us and let us know, and the projects failed. I won't do that to you.
Time.
I will stand for you.
Thank you. Mr. Africa. Rehab, expanding, better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts. What's your plan? Rehabbing, expanding, better utilizing our existing homes and storefronts. What is your plan to deal with existing businesses and keep them in the city of Birmingham and homeowners as well?
I was the founder of the Smithfield Merchants Association back in 1983. There's a reason black businesses and black contractors, well, not just black contractors, but because if you look at my sheet that WGLD failed to look at last week when they excluded me from the Carver Theater, you would have seen who my major contributors were. They were small businesses. They were regular people. They were black contractors. There were a few white contractors. They got behind me for a reason, because I have been pro-business for a very long time. The federal opportunity zone that I mentioned, that only myself and my friend up here sitting here, the only two of us that fought for it. You know what neighborhood they did not exclude from the federal opportunity zone, y'all? It was only one in the black community, Smithfield. You know why? Because I'm head of the Merchants Association and I was on top of it. They would not dare mess with Smithfield. That's why Smithfield is in the federal opportunity zone. It was never excluded, but they excluded 5 Points West. Where was the leadership? They excluded Wylam, downtown business district. Where was the leadership? Where was the leadership in Inslee? You didn't have any. And if you had it, they weren't on their job. When you put me in, you will have a critical, analytical thinker, and I will also
30
have
seconds.
the top people from around the country, if I have to recruit them, if I can't get them locally, to make sure that they will never disrespect the black community again.
Wandalyn Gavan.
Listen. Can you all hear me? Listen. From one end to this table to the next, these are the same comments that I hear every time I'm running for office for the State House. From when I started working on political campaigns many, many years ago. The question is implementation. We know what it takes to draw business in our areas, but the problem is nobody's implementing it. All of these are pretty good ideas that are coming down each end. At the end of the day, until you clean up this city, until you make these neighborhoods, these storefronts viable, it's not going to happen. Developers drive these neighborhoods all the time. When they drive, they're looking and they have a checkoff. Are the streets resurfaced? Are the neighborhoods viable? Is this an opportunity or a neighborhood where people will come to shop? Are there cars parked all over the yards? Is there paper everywhere? And until you can clean up your city and clean up where you are, you're not going to get the type of investments in storefronts. and viable businesses. I'm just going to talk straight talk with you all. I said, it's 10 days left. It all works hand in hand. And until we get the infrastructure, until we rebuild back these neighborhoods, when people come in, yes, we need anchor tenants. I've been the one preaching about anchor
30
tenants.
seconds.
If you don't have an anchor tenant to drive much of this growth, you're going to just build and rebuild back some of the mom and pops. But guess what? They will eventually fail. My plan is simple. We're going to bring in the anchor tenants, but we're going to fix the problems that
15.
surround in order to make the businesses sustainable. That is why you see every door that opens in a few months is closed, because the businesses are not sustainable, because they don't have the proper infrastructure. And that's what we need, an administrator who will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, same type of question in a sense, development, housing in the area, but what would you do specifically for this side of town? Mr. Russell?
Thank you for the question. First of all, I live in Pratt City. I live right off Cherry Avenue. In 2011, that's when the storm came through Cherry Avenue. And that time, President Barack Obama was the president. They had a plan to redevelop the whole Pratt City area. But what happened was William Bell was the mayor at that particular time. Instead of William Bell going out to get co-engineer to clean the place up in like a week, they used his partner, I can't think the guy's name was over the water work, to pay $13 million to have the place cleaned up. And what happened to the place is the place didn't get cleaned up in time, so the federal government took the money from Pratt City. Pratt City is supposed to have been a #1 city. They took the money from Pratt City and took it carried down to Tuscaloosa. This is why when you go through Tuscaloosa, you see Tuscaloosa, how it's growing. That money that went to Tuscaloosa, that old President Obama had for Pratt City, it should have gone to Pratt City. Pratt City would have been developed. This is why they closed down Daniel Payne School, because they didn't build those houses back, so Daniel Payne School didn't have enough students, so they had to close Daniel Payne School and merge the school down with Southampton School. So what I would do, I would go back to D.C. and see, can we get that money redeveloped for have Pratt City become a #1 city in the city of Birmingham, because the money, like I said, was already there.
30 seconds.
Second of all, I would also make sure that each community would get a share of money for their city. But I can't say enough about the money that should have gone to Inslee, Wiles, and Pratt City.
15
that money
seconds.
went to Woodlawn. That money would have stayed down in Inslee. We would develop Inslee again like a Black Wall Street. We could have developed a lot of things down in time Inslee. So again, there's some money still available for that, and I'll be willing to work to get it.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson.
I'll say when it comes to Pratt City, the money's no longer there in D.C. What people didn't know was that in 2011, I wasn't just working as a nonprofit, I was working with FEMA. We had offices in FEMA. President Obama wanted to make Pratt City the first $1 billion recovery in American history for that disaster. In those offices up there, they had me come out into the community and to create a community team at a local church here. And I went over there with Pastor Williams and began to set things in place, but the local people didn't understand what I was doing. So we had politicians that were in and represented this area. They kept undermining our efforts. Mayor Bell had appointed me to be over faith-based and the response and all of that, and he put me over that, and I was organizing. Therefore, that's why FEMA was working with me. Because of the way our politicians treated FEMA, what they did was they moved out of Birmingham, went to Montgomery, and made the decision to make Tuscaloosa now the focus point for the recovery. That's what happened because I was a part of it. There was $1 million worth of lumber that the governor called me about to come here. I tried to get the armory to put it in. They would not allow me to put it in the armory. I sent it to Tuscaloosa. That happened twice. Pratt has just been undermined to the nth degree, but it's not too late.
15.
It's not too late. Our communities can be redeveloped. We can do more than do a half a park, but we've got to have a real plan. And right now there is no real plan, and there's no plan on the table because people do not care about us.
We have been asked to have a rebuttal by Ms. Gavan. 30 seconds. One moment. Go ahead, Mr. Woodson.
I'm sorry.
Rebuttal. Yes, sir. 30 seconds.
I need to rebut because in 2011, when that storm hit, I got Scott School open, boots on the ground every day, on the phone with Pastor Lewis to get the center open to begin to move the processes around here. Now, what I will not do is allow anyone to come in here with makeshift plans and to sugarcoat things that they have done
15.
that was so great. At the end of the day, when this city and this area needed someone in 2011 to bring the National Guard in here because of looting and folks' properties being taken, it was Wanda Gavan that demanded that. So I cannot allow that conversation to take place.
May I rebut that?
20 seconds.
Sure. Look, I didn't know who was the political leaders on the ground. I just know that they were the problem. I told Reverend Williams that these politicians and other folks on the ground were the problem. Those politicians confronted me about that during that time. I was just communicating what FEMA said, that there was a problem and they would pull out because of these politicians.
Time. Okay, we're going to move on. The next person is Mr. Africa. Yes, sir. Speaking of rehabilitation, storefronts, existing things, and what are you going to homes? What are you going to do for this side of town? Specifically, this side of town. Not downtown, not uptown, not midtown, this side of town.
Tess? Okay. I'm so happy you asked that question because I consider myself West because I live at Center Street and 11th Court. That is called infamously Dynamite Hill, where the first bombs went off. I'm a victim because when I was going to the gym, I was enjoying retirement for the last 5 years, and I was going to the gym every day with my grandkids. I didn't have a gym to go to in Birmingham that was fully equipped, like they've got on Highway 150, that complex there, like Hoover has, like Alabaster is building with only 33,000 residents and a fraction of our budget. We got a $591 million budget. We don't have a gym that we can go to in the city of Birmingham that's fully equipped with an indoor swimming pool. Mr. Bell, who supported my colleague sitting next to me, built in Fountain Heights a $3 million gym, and those dummies didn't put the swimming pool on the inside where you can enjoy it year round. So the first plan would be, after I take care of the security, getting the foot patrols, would be to have a first-class or world-class athletic and entertainment center. You're going to tell me black folks don't have culture? We shouldn't have theater? We don't have a theater anymore. When I was growing up, we had something called Black Fire Theater. But the current administration tore down the Elks Lodge.
30 seconds.
So I'm also going to demand that we get our $5 million back from Birmingham Southern, and we're going to redistribute that back into our community. Forestdale, I'm going to ask the citizens there, can we annex them for population? And Brighton, because I want the industrial park to build an exhibition driving complex. We have to get the population back up. We need athletic complexes where people can exercise and get healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gavan. What would you do for this side of town in housing and retail and cleanup? What are you going to do for this side of town?
Listen, first of all, I'm asking everyone in here to go to gavanformayor.com. My plan is simple. The first 122 days, that is 99 neighborhoods, 23 communities. We're going to get this city cleaned up. Mayor Langford did it in 23 days, the 23 communities, but we're going to combine both. That's going to be the first thing we're going to do. We're going to clean this city up. Secondly, we're going to deal with the issue of crime, for which no one at this table these past 4 years, now that everybody's running for mayor, everybody's running for mayor because they think the mayor that's there is vulnerable. No one at this table said one thing about the number of deaths, the crime, the trash, the brush, or litter and debris. But I am here today because I'm going to move these communities forward. So my plan of action is going to be this for our crime: the Birmingham Protect and Serve Policing Partnership Plan, where we're going to deal with de-escalation training. We're going to deal with the issue of putting crime plan in each neighborhood. We're going to also allow for substations to be put in our high crime areas. We only have about 300 and something, not quite 400 law enforcement officers. We're going to get law enforcement officers to make our city safer so we can bring businesses back. That's number one. We're going to fix that public works department down the street, where we're going to get more people working. Right now, there's less than 500 public works employees. Why am I talking about these as plans? Because you cannot continue to run a city that is not being run by not offering the services that you need.
30
if
seconds.
you do that, you'll bring business, you'll bring development, and you will have better and what is called livable communities. A plan for our children. We have 17 freaking swimming pools, only 4 of them open, and I wouldn't let my child swim in not one of them.
15 seconds.
Make it make sense. These are the things that build communities. Park and recreations, better park designs, better developments. We have children swinging in pools, but when the foot hit the ground, if it's raining, guess what?
Time.
Their feet are drowning in the pools. Let's work to build a better community, and that's what I'm going to do. Go to gavanformayor.com.
Thank you. Mr. Rice, what are you going to do for this side of community, this side of town?
I'm glad we're very specific about this side of town. One of the first things I would do as an Alabama A&M grad is to contact Alabama A&M about Birmingham Southern. We have to figure out how to move that deal forward. The next thing, when it comes to development in our communities, there's an amendment called Amendment 772. It says if you add to economic development, then you can grant resources. We've been granting resources through Amendment 772 to a lot of other types of companies for years, but for some reason that's not getting to our communities. Let's give you an example. We've used Amendment 772 to give $9 million to the Ramsey McCormick. Let's think about 7 blocks in downtown Inslee. If $1 million went to each block, we're able to develop several blocks because we as African Americans have learned to do learn to do a lot with very little. But if you put that $1 million on each block, now we got 7 blocks that look very well versus 1 lot and that's completely cleared and there's no development. It's things like that. So now that we're in Pratt City, I will investigate everything associated with 1430 Pratt Highway. I will investigate everything associated with the Crossplex, the Ramsey McCormick. Also, I'm extremely concerned about how Scott School was acquired. They said it was in an urban renewal district. It is not in an urban renewal district, but no one that day checked the laws, checked anything. But everyone that day knew it was wrong what they were doing, and everybody put their head down and they voted to go forward anyway. So we're going to be accountable about how we spend funds in our communities. We're going to be committed to building business across the city because we must support more jobs, we must support more families, we must support more youth.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. Do you want to take that time, or you want to yield?
I'm good, thank you.
You will yield. Mr. Russell?
Okay, first thing I would do.
Pardon me, why would you like a rebuttal? Why would you like a rebuttal? Was your name called? Okay, he was stating politicians, and that's why, since she's a sitting rep, I'm going to move on. Mr. Russell. Mr. Russell.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I would do, I would take down what the BJCC has said. BJCC pays no tax to the city of Birmingham. The city of Birmingham used all their resources that they in turn tore down Caraway Hospital with no cost to BJCC. I would bring BJCC back into the fold and make sure that all the money that should have gone to the city of Birmingham would be going to park and recreation so we could repair all of the parks throughout the city of Birmingham. So when you come to open up the pool will be open on time. And let me share this. I might have to leave. I got another engagement. Second of all, one reason I'm running. The city have got money for down 4th Avenue, got money twice. Nothing ever developed down 4th Avenue. The city have been working on A.G. Gaston Hotel for 6 years, have not completed. So the city has money for the 10-story building that was torn down downtown. Anything that pertaining to the black community, the money comes, but the money never goes to where it's supposed to be. I would make sure that the A.G. Gaston Hotel is complete. I would make sure that down on 4th Avenue to get their money. I would make sure down in Ensley can become another Black Wall Street, where we could have a chamber of commerce, maybe in the Nixon building. I would do so much for Ensley to make sure that Ensley is on the map. I was told back in the day, Ensley was the financial engine for the whole city of Birmingham, but look at it now. We had long range plans for down in Ensley. Ensley is one of the cities that have all the train intersects there.
30
down
seconds.
The Ensley is one of the cities that they have with all the train intersect and down the ends. I would make sure that in my administration that ends would have a rapid rail train that you can get on a rapid rail train, go from here to Atlanta in an hour, Memphis in an hour, New Orleans in an hour, because everybody have to change down to Ensley. Ensley would be a hub for a rapid rail train. You can go to New Orleans in an hour. Anywhere you come to Ensley, you will have to make the changes.
Time.
So it would develop downtown Ensley, and we can turn Black Ensley to.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Woodson, we're going to start with the first question with you. Are you ready? Mr. Russell had informed the committee, the organizers, that he had an engagement, so thank you for your time today, Mr. Russell. Let's give him a hand. You may make your 30-second statement.
First of all, let me say thank you all for coming. Today, they talking about the waterworks that are being sold, but see, the waterworks are not being sold. The waterworks going to be transferred back to the city of Birmingham. I'm the one that did 35,000 signatures. I have the petition under my desk here. So we're going to be able to transfer that water back to the city of Birmingham, and it will be a department head. We go to court in November, 15. I believe. We go to court in November, so we will have that water work transferred back to the city of Birmingham. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russell, for your time, and good luck. We appreciate your time today. We're going to continue on with Mr. Woodson on this first question. Relationships with corporate, relationships with community, relationships with clergy, relationships with others who are going to be working for you and with you. One of the things that has happened, according to this, one of the things that you've lost the Birmingham Stallions. You've lost your water. Some people think you lost your mind. However, in regard to all of what's going on, and you have a crime-ridden city, although there have been numbers all of a sudden where 8 years ago, 4 years ago, 12 months ago, numbers were not being released. Do you have a city in peril? Do you have a city that needs help? Is the city on life support? Is it moving forward? But how do these relationships in your mind could help or couldn't have helped to save those things that have left and to bring those things that are needed? Relationships.
I'd say that this is one of the biggest things that we've got to do. The first thing is, Mayor, we've got to bring back some of the best, brightest, and smartest people in each department. And I don't care what administration they were in, I'm not going to give positions like that to friends, brothers, in-laws, and outlaws. I'm not going to do that. But you've got to have the character to bring those people back, and they will know that with our team of leaders approach, not a leadership team, but a team of leaders, On a leadership team, everybody, you got a genius with 1,000 helpers. No, we want leaders to be in the forefront in parks and recreation, in all of the departments, and in policing. We've got to have a history, a proven history of getting things done through leadership. I've got a history of getting things done by building relationships and through leaderships. The Birmingham College Scholarship and Career Fair. We've done over $300 million in college scholarships to over 12,000 children, quietly. If it came down to feeding Birmingham, we did the same thing, relationships. We went to each major denomination, and in those denominations, we said we want to distribute food across the entire state of Alabama. That's relational power. In the corporate community, will they respect you? Will they open their door to you? I've worked with the heads of these corporations for a year.
30 seconds.
As we created Blueprint Birmingham. I met with them every month, be it Montgomery, be it DC. At the end of the day, relationships are a force multiplier, and you want to make sure that you send someone in that seat that has a history of healthy relationships
15.
With our partners. Did you say time?
You got 10 seconds. Proceed.
A history of that. A history of being able to get things done. We have built things. We have strategic agreements with the SBA to work with our small businesses. We're working with more than 1,000.
Time.
If people don't like you, they don't work with you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson.
Thank you.
Mr. Africa, relationships.
Test. Oh, God, is that reverb?
Relationships. How would you work with community, clergy, CEOs, building relationships? Do you think that's a problem? Do you think that you've had issues with things leaving? You've lost your water. You've lost some of your sporting. You've lost on the crime issue. Relationships. Do you think those relationships would have to be nurtured, or do you think you're good? Everything's good. Everything's moving. What's your thought?
The black church is the most stable institution in the black community, the black church. I've been campaigning. This month will be 12 months I've been campaigning. I started a long time ago. I did not want to do it, but Philemon Hill got sick, so I couldn't support him. Had I known Brian was going to get it, I probably would have supported him. But I started out at the church, Pastor. You know, I came here months ago, and I have been very well received. Those institutions are where we must start the foundations of things that we need to do in the community, because that's the pillar. Unfortunately, that's the only pillar that we have other than the graveyard. So I understand those necessary relationships because, again, I'm the only one up here that's been in the community for 40 years, getting $3 million for Smithfield, for the Enterprise Zone, competing with other cities, by the way, $8,000 for the Boys Club on a place called The Yard in Smithfield. I didn't ask for a penny. We loaned them. I gave them my land to use, and my partner did everything else. I understand relationships. I went to Carver Jones, even though it's in Fairfield, and told him that Carver Jones is a black grocery store, if you all don't know. If I were to become mayor, we're going to make sure we
30
create
seconds.
we're going to make sure we create black millionaires in our community, because in 8 years, I've not seen any black millionaires being created out of the current administration. Again, I mentioned my mentors.
15.
Maynard Jackson. Coleman Young said, crime is the ultimate result of economic deprivation. Marion Barry made a lot of black millionaires. He built black businesses. They deemed him mayor for life in Washington, D.C.
Time.
I had the opportunity to live in D.C. for a while during that period of time.
Ms. Gavan, relationships.
I'm very intentional in this comment. You cannot have a strong urban city without a strong relationship with the church. I've never seen it happen except for the last 8 years. The first relationship that has to be reestablished in City Hall has to be with the faith-based organizations, faith-based ministries. I am proposing in my plan, the Gavan Plan 2025, to be the first mayor to create an office of faith-based initiatives. We have a homeless crisis in this city. We have an issue with the homeless. We have an issue with squatters. We have an issue with those that have been disenfranchised. We have church doors. It is the greatest foundation and the greatest corporation that has ever been built. It's undeniable. But the doors are closed Monday through Sundays now. We have an issue with feeding the homeless. So that relationship matters. Why? Because we should be putting money back into these churches to assist us in operating either homeless shelters or at least feeding the homeless, but also working with us as we build shelters to get them off the streets. For me, that is the most important relationship. Why? Because the corporate relationships will come. But our problems in our communities are problems that are so deeply rooted that we cannot get ahead. Also, it goes back to what I said in the beginning.
30
you
seconds.
have to have someone who cares. So to build the corporate communities, to build the relationships with your governmental entities and your governmental officials. But I'm going to tell everybody, y'all need to get a civics book. A civics book.
15 seconds, 15 seconds.
Her mic went out.
Mike, you got 15. We'll retake your 15. We start now. 15 seconds.
I'm going to, excuse me, can you hear me now? I'm going to say to each of you, get a civics book so you can know and understand the role of everyone that you are electing to office and what that role entails. A debate happened, and I'll close with this, last week. WJLD. The only thing this mayor has been concerned about is the fact that I used the term randemic, referenced him speaking as Michael Jackson, and now he's trying to give the impression he's not bothered. But we have a lot of issues other than the fact someone calling you randemic. Make it make sense, Birmingham.
Time. Mr. Rice, relationships, clergy, community, and others.
At the beginning of that, you also mentioned Birmingham Water, Birmingham Stallions. I'm thankful for the background that I have had for 20 plus years. I've been trained in business development, mostly in manufacturing, construction, and trades. Sometimes I'm at a Hyundai plant and I have to learn how to interact with Koreans. Sometimes I'm at a Japanese plant. Sometimes I'm somewhere else. But we learn a lot of different traits. So I'm thankful for that background. We must create stronger business relationships across the city. We have to figure out a way to create more business in the city. The other thing, I'm extremely concerned about the relationships connected to the Birmingham Waterworks Board. I believe our city the current leaders are too compromised to lead. If they are involved in multiple ethics violations and no one is holding them accountable, these are great negotiating points for the other side. If you elect people who are too compromised to lead, the city is going to continue losing. They can take whatever they want. They want the same people back in because they get to take as much as they want. So I'm extremely concerned about that. So we must get guardrails back in City Hall. We must hold people accountable to show that we have standards of excellence. Also, when it comes to Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy, I am a baseball player. To see a program like that to be destroyed is a shame. So we must create a relationship with the Major League Baseball to bring that program back here. It was a $10 million program for here, and we lost it. When it comes to the clergy, we're all over the city, and our city is struggling. But also the city is struggling to support the city.
15.
So we must work together to figure out how to do more. So with that, I want to do what Larry Langford was attempting to do. I want to start calling those all-hands meetings with the black males, all-hands meeting with the women, all-hands meeting with the church and others, and we're going to move the city forward.
Thank you. Our next question, same type of thing. It appears that at City Hall, there is a mandate to help everybody but anyone over 50. And to help anyone in situations, as Ms. Gavan just illustrated, not having an actual office of senior services, an actual faith-based mental health or homeless type of initiative that is directly where there is one concentration, yet you have an LGBTQI plus representative liaison. Thank you, Mr. Woodson. Liaison. What would you do, and how would you proceed on making sure that your senior population has direct services from your office, and that your additional communities, i.e. your clergy and your neighborhood presidents, have their representative so that they don't have to track you down, and that they will continue to make sure that their voices are heard, not silenced? And I know that was long, but basically it goes back to relationships. And how would you have them directly involved in your office on a day-to-day basis, not when there's a crisis? I'm sorry, Mr. Africa, you're first. Mr. Woodson was last. We gave Mr. David Russell a pass to go, and so now we're back to square one. Thank you.
Test, okay. I want you to remember the notation that I started August of last year, and my handbills have been out to date, about 10,000 of them, starting from this morning. The reason I'm dressed like I am, because I was grinding on the ground with my crew at 7 o'clock a.m., so I picked them up at 6:15. The first one, I think one of the top pillars on my handbill is to eliminate the office of LGBTQIA and treat all citizens with dignity and respect. I had an argument, I know that community very well, but they have not been tied, had ancestors that were tied to horses, all 4 limbs, and pulled in separate directions, burned at the stake. The children fed to alligators in Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi. They've not gone through that. This lady actually argued with me, thinking that they should have special privilege. As it pertains to our seniors, we do need to, I'm a senior, so you know I'm gonna look out for us. We have to have a special liaison to have extra things for seniors because some of them are handicapped. As I went around this city throughout the time I've been campaigning, and especially in the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of mental illness, y'all, and it's not just seniors.
30
we got
seconds.
Young black men out here that have gotten charges put on them falsely. And by the way, I got a 39-year track record. The Mufandi Lake Committee for Prison Support gave it to me in 1983, and I got the other one last year, February, Humanitarian Award for Committee for Prison Support. It's called the Mufandi Lake Award. I am sensitive to the needs of all people. As a white guy.
Thank you. Ms. Gavan.
Thank you. As I open, one of the biggest crises facing our seniors is rent. We have a lot of seniors who are renters and not homeowners, but we also have seniors who have had to take out reverse mortgages, and you would be surprised at the number of seniors that are now losing their homes. We must address the housing crises and to address the issues that are impacting our seniors. We must allow them the opportunity to have a belief that we are here to help them and that whatever they're going through, that there's somebody to listen to them. One of the things in my platform is going to be a Real Talk Friday with the mayor, Chad and Chew. I'm going to begin this back. Larry Langford implemented this under his administration, where I allow people to come in and have a conversation with me. I allow them to come in to talk to me about their needs. One of the biggest issues also in our community with our seniors is senior fitness. For the last 4 years, I've been sponsoring every Thursday and Tuesday a senior fit program right here now. It's at One Pratt Park, where we have about 50 to 60 women in One Pratt Park at the library to come in, and we address issues such as senior health. We also do things and provide activities for them. But most importantly, one of the things that I'm going to do is to definitely, again, connect with the church. Here again, this is where and I'm not saying this because I'm in a church. My strongest voting base are seniors. I'm not ashamed to say it. And I'm not worried about anyone taking that base. My strongest base has been my seniors. Why? Because I see them, I engage with them, I talk to them, and I do my best to help service their needs. And for me, that is going to also continue to remain a priority. Why? Because they are that lost conversation. Should they be? Absolutely not. So we're going to continue to work with individuals such as Tracy Johnson. We're going to continue to work with the ARC. We're going to continue to work with all of those social service agencies to assist our communities. But lastly, I wanted to say one thing. One of the other biggest issues for our seniors right now is one that they should not have, and that is living in their houses afraid of the people who are living next door to them that are squatters. And we must get these squatters out of these houses that they did not pay for, did not purchase, and are not the true renters of them. Thank you.
Time. Thank you. Mr. Rice.
One of the first things that this administration did was get rid of the institutional knowledge at City Hall. There's a former attorney that I talked to from time to time, and she made sure I knew that he got rid of a lot of people who was experienced. And these are those who are over 50, and that is very disappointing. The other thing that a former master planner said, we are not transferring institutional knowledge from administration to administration. Now when it comes to seniors, something I'm extremely concerned about is our demolition plan. Our demolition plan has been in place since 2011, since we started implementing the Birmingham Land Bank program, I think around 2012 or so. So we've been tearing down homes in these underutilized area, underserved areas. All it is doing is destroying the property values of the seniors, those who have spent their entire lives paying for these properties. And we as a city have a policy where we're destroying their property values and we're not intentionally developing around them. That is a shame on the city. So that policy, or those policies that have been taking place, I'm going to make sure they are removed. We are going to focus on redevelopment in our communities. Also, it is a shame that as large as we are as a city, we do not have a large multi-purpose complex. We have too many people going to McCullough, going to Hoover. Yes, they may do a railroad park program, or yes, they may do something at One Prayer Park, but we should have a complete complex that all have access to. We can't build them across the city at one time, but we need to make sure we have a super complex that competes with all the surrounding city, that supports our seniors, that supports our youth, that supports all adults. So I want to be intentional about making sure we are able to compete against all the neighboring cities. And I'm committed to that as Brian K. Rice.
Thank you. Mr. Woodson.
One of the things that I've already started to use my connections for is to form an Office of Faith-Based and Community Service at the city level. Began the connections in Montgomery and also in D.C. because dollars are going to be coming down. And this is where we will house our compassion initiatives, where we declare war on homelessness and not on the homeless people. It's where we take care of the widows and the orphans and those that are most vulnerable, and we commit 1% of our budget. We need solutions. We're going to do that. We're also going to have the Office of Senior Advancement. Our seniors are not all that savvy with technology, so what we want to be able to support those 32,000 seniors with case managers there in the city. We also want to work with organizations that help parents that are in transition from living independently to dependently, and the families need support in figuring that out and how to maximize the services that are available. We're also going to have the Office of Youth Wellness, to where we're taking care of our children. The most vulnerable, impoverished person in Birmingham, Alabama right now is the 15-year-old black girl. So much so that people are raising funds for personal hygiene items. We've got to build our nonprofit sector up because that creates a circle of intervention around families. We will build up that nonprofit sector to strengthen our families, to make sure that our children transition well. And last but not least, again, homes, blight, and apprenticeship programs. We got to give our young men something else to do. And we've got to depend on the city council to pass a rental property inspection ordinance to take care of every abandoned, blighted property and to deal with those landlords. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to open it up to the floor. Is there anybody with questions for today's candidates? I will walk over to you.
My name is Herschel Hicks. I'm the Vice President of Smithfield Estates Neighborhood Association. My question is, y'all know 70 Highway is a dangerous intersection. We need more lighting, cameras on that intersection. We'd had more death and accident. We need your help on that. Once you make, and one of y'all gonna make mayor, but when you get in, don't forget, in that gas station right there to the left, 11 o'clock at night, it's packed. We need to clean that up. I don't know what's going on over there, but I know they're not buying gas. Okay? Now, I'm the vice president. We have our meeting today at 2 o'clock to 3 today. We're going to just talk about what went on today. I'm going to let them know. Like I said, one of you all going to make mayor. And I'm pushing. Okay? Thank y'all.
Okay, I can start with you, Ms. Gavan. And any one of you can take that, and then you can raise your hand. I'll go to each one of you. You guys have about, because we're trying to wrap you up, take 60 seconds, please. And the timekeeper will keep us on time. No closing statements. Please answer the gentleman's question. Neighborhood leader.
First of all, infrastructure.
60 seconds.
People don't think that these lights are part of infrastructure. We are thinking that we're just looking at the streets and things. We must get lighting in these areas. I have been making this argument for the last 4 years dealing with the crime. It's not that the west side of town is so bad. It's the side that is so dormant because of the lights, because of all of the vacant lots in between one or two houses, and then there's dormancy. We must continue to put shot spotters, but we must put better lighting in these neighborhoods, not just on every other street, but every street. And so that is one of the things that I'm going to work to make sure that we bring about. Also, not just the lights. We've got to do better with our neighborhood watches in this area also, and to rebuild better our neighborhood watch associations. Thank you.
Mr. Rice. And then Mr. Woodson, and then Mr. Africa. 1 minute.
State law, city ordinance says we must, have conserve property values. It also talks about lighting. We must implement safety programs, et cetera, et cetera. To live on the west side, you see the darkness. A lot of times when I drive downtown, I feel like I'm in a whole different city. I said that light comes up here, but I feel like the sun does not come up on the west side. But and so we must be committed to that. That's without an option. We must be committed to public safety. There are some intersection I go to where the stop sign may have been torn down and they put it too far back. And because the grass is too high, you can't even see the stop sign. And then there's somebody have an accident at the intersection.
15.
It's things like that. But the other part of it, when you talk about those who are at those gas stations at night, I want to make sure we create programs that can reach the mind of more men and women who are not being reached. We have to reach the most at risk, and we have to show them a better life.
Time. Mr. Woodson?
The same problems that we have with our lighting, we have with our roadways. The franchise agreement says that if they cut 3 times within a span of road, that franchise agreement usually says they got to repave that span. But when you're going out and hanging out with these corporate people and these are your buddies, it doesn't get done. I would probably bet on the fact that even though our lights aren't working in our community, that we're still being charged for those poles. That means that we have to hold Alabama Power accountable We've got to hold Spire accountable. We've got to hold these folks accountable. And I don't believe we're doing it now. Plus, we ought to require that either they upgrade our entire lighting across the city to LED, which reduce the cost by 60%, or we start investing in our own lights, in our own cameras, in our own poles. But we've got to have that. They're not doing it, and it makes no sense to pay for something that we don't get.
Mr. Kamau, Africa.
Hello?
Yeah, we have an audio engineer. When you pick up your mic, he will know, and then he will turn you up if there's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you have 60 seconds.
All right, Brother Hicks, if you remember, I was at you all's meeting months ago, and I remember those issues that you discussed about what was going on at that filling station. When I mentioned that one of my priorities is to make sure that I annex, if I can get the citizens to support it, annex Forestdale and Brighton, but Forestdale is more immediate to the both of our neighborhoods because we got to get the population up to come back to number one. But with that comes the responsibility of a city. We have to have a police force to make sure that we get it all cleaned up. Not only the filth and dirt in the street, but get the community cleaned up. I remember right down the street here, across from, I think it's called Circle C.
15.
I had to go in there and personally say something to that. A lot of these people don't live in our community, y'all. They live in Hoover, Alabaster. He just happens to be East Indians. I'm not against him, but I had to go in there. The Thomas neighborhood president came and got me because you know me. I'm gonna be rambunctious if I have to be. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it straight. You understand?
Time. Thank you. We have a question from the audience.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say there is great talent at this table. I see that it's just great talent. Great talent. And I want to go along with Mr. Herschel Hicks, our neighborhood liaison here. I want to say to you that there's one seat missing there. So after this is over with, I want everybody to take all these great ideas and get behind one candidate, so we can make your ideas come to life. And the people at this table, with all of those great ideas you have, let's consolidate it behind one candidate that we can push together and take to the next level. So hopefully I don't see none of y'all on the other side when the candidate don't even come out to show up to answer questions. So I want to remember that because we're going to be watching you. We're going to watch you and see is what you say what you really mean. So look at each other at the table. I want y'all to look at each other. Frank, look at Wanda. I want you, hey, come out, look at the people at the table. I want y'all to consolidate behind somebody that had the guts to come out here and answer your questions.
Thank you for that statement. Any more questions? Going right over here. Okay. We have another question from the audience.
So in 2016 and 2017, organizers and activists hit the ground running to increase minimum wage in the city of Birmingham. Minimum wage is currently at $7.25. It's the federal minimum wage, and it's still the set minimum wage today. 8 years later, now in 2025, we're still fighting to raise the minimum wage for workers. So I want to know, will you fight to increase minimum wage in the city of Birmingham? But also, in your administration, will you hire second chance offenders and implement ban the box under your administration?
Mr. Rice, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Africa, and Ms. Gavan last. Mr. Rice.
Back in 2016, 2017, I think it was the state of Alabama that stopped the minimum wage. I'm going to fight to grow business here. I'm going to fight to grow opportunity here. We must create more opportunity here. We are extremely poor. When we talk about the poverty rates, it may say 25% or 30%, but then we're talking about the other people who make another 10 and 20,000, and they're extremely poor too. We're extremely poor. So I'm extremely committed to business, to small business, making sure as much of that money stays in the city of Birmingham so we can keep our tax dollars here, grow jobs here, support that mother, father here, support that teenager here, and we can support mentoring programs here. We must grow business. We've seen too much business interference across this city. We've talked about it for the last 40 years. Black leaders are stopping black communities from developing. It doesn't matter if it's black or white. I'm going to focus on development in our communities.
Time. Mr. Woodson.
I'd say this right here. I like to figure out ways to make things work, whether I fight for minimum wage or I fight for wage increase. I'd probably take an approach to fight for wage increase in this way right here, that we began to skill up our workforce, that we put in things within our community, just like we had the night schools and the like. We put things in. We do partnerships with our junior colleges. We have classes in, put certifications in, so that we make them compete for the employees that are out here. That's what happens in the Ivy League areas. When they have to compete where labor is scarce and qualified labor, then the prices begin to go up. 15. I want to skill up our workers. I would do that right there. That would be my approach, because I don't see where I as a mayor have the juice to really push for that. But one thing I can do is make them compete for workers. And we saw that during the pandemic. When they had to compete, they started paying more.
Mr. Africa.
Test. The proof is in action. Dre, Cade, and Aunt George live in Smithfield. I told the mother they're bound to get in trouble. Young men sitting there not doing anything. What did I do? I actively picked one of them up, eventually got the other one to come. In fact, I met one the other night and he said, Mr. Africa, I just got a job. I said, good, congratulations. I took his brother to the industrial center myself. As it pertains to second chance offenders.
15 seconds. 30, I apologize. Start over, 30 seconds.
On my TikTok, go to my TikTok. There's a gentleman by the name of Eddie Gaston. He owns Eddie Seat Covers. In 91, he lost his rights. He gives you his testimony about what kind of person I am.
15.
I did that for 39 years, as I said before, helping people that were in prison. Pen pal, sending them care packages, not only men. Started out with mostly black men. Then it was black women. Then I had a couple of white people to write me because I had helped them.
Ms. Gavan.
Let me deal with the first issue, the minimum wage. I fought for the minimum wage, was one of the main primary persons here on the Jefferson County delegation, filibustering everything in the world to fight the Republican Party. Listen, they tore it down, they struck it down, we had to march, we had to fight, almost burn their houses down. We are going to have to get people out to vote. We're going to have to take back not just the city. I don't believe in saying taking it back. We've got to save our city because we're facing a machine in Montgomery, a super minority.
30 seconds.
With regards to banning the box, I have sponsored every phase 1, 2, 3 of banning the box. With regards to banning the box, and for those who do not know what that is if you have been convicted of a crime, if the question is asked, you do not have to answer that, and we do not make it a part of the final selection process. But with that being said, I have fought for the ban the box. But lastly, listen, it's simple in the city of Birmingham. We also need job training, job readiness training for our people. We can talk about increasing the minimum wage, but if we're sending our kids to jobs and they don't understand the undertaking, how to dress, how to speak, how to get the job, there's no need to increase the minimum wage without providing the training. But on my website, I already have.
Come on, question? Thank you, Ms. Gavan. We have a question from the audience.
I'd like to know from each candidate state why you think you would be the best person for the mayor's job.
Good question, Mr. Woodson, and then we'll follow suit with Mr. Africa, Ms. Gavan, and Mr. Rice.
I believe that I'll be the best person for the job because I'm best prepared for what the city needs at this time. We've got to deal with community and economic development. I've got experience in that, real experience in doing that, stabilizing the neighborhoods. There is no revitalization without stabilizing them first. I've had the experience in doing that when I work with the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. Land banking, how to use that in an effective way. I have an experience with that. I understand
30
the challenge.
seconds.
I'm not for more rental properties. I'm not for Airbnb. I'm not for any of that because our housing structure, our rental properties are already at 55%. of our housing stock. Plus, I work with leaders and I empower
15
others.
seconds.
I have an experience and I have a track record of working with leaders, not just people, but people that lead leaders. I've worked with them. Right now, Birmingham is failing because of leadership. I'll bring that leadership on day one.
Mr. Kamau, Africa.
Are you going to have closing statements? Because this is almost,
Mr. Africa, yes.
because this is almost like that. That's what I'm asking.
No, it's not. Please answer the gentleman's question.
Tess, in terms of a community service record, there's nobody up here, and you can put them all together again, and you can go to my website, and you can read just 16 points. When you go to the menu and about, and my website is Africa, AFRIKA, for mayor.com. People will invoke Larry's name, but I'm that 2.0. 40 years.
30 seconds.
I'm respected by I'll just say I'm respected by most of the powerful white brokers in this city. I will listen to and respect all citizens
15
equally.
seconds.
And I'm respected also by the underworld. You got to get them also. I sat with them about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. I'm talking about the underworld, the gangsters. You got to know them
Time.
because they can stop things that other folks
Ms.
can't
Gavan?
do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Africa.
I will answer this question like this. 8 years ago, I am the only person sitting at this table that did not support the incumbent mayor. Make that make sense. The reason why is because I knew what the job entailed. Not just because I'm a graduate of Miles College, not just because I'm a graduate of Miles Law School, not just because I worked for Mayor Arrington Bell and Kincaid, as well as the lawyer that brought Larry Langford home to die, since his name has been mentioned multiple times. I am the most qualified person because I understand the undertaking of being an administrator, as well as being an employee and a servant of the city of Birmingham, because I've worked there. I've worked in these streets. I've been in this position for enough time that I don't need on-the-job training. The reason why you should pick me is because I'm going to keep my word, to do my best, and to serve the people with servant, honest, and dignified leadership to get the job done. Boots on the ground, doors of City Hall open, and keeping my commitment to serve the people who have elected me. Bottom line.
Time.
Rebuttal.
Mr. Rice.
Rebuttal. She said everybody at the table.
Mr. Rice.
Okay, just to start it off real fast, I voted for William Bell. But I did support Mayor Woodfin once he got in. I believed in what he stood for. I did not know he was telling us lies in his 90th day in office.
I did not support
Okay, I'm out.
I said 8 years ago.
She said everybody at the table.
8 years ago. Period. 8 years ago.
There is no rebuttal. There was no one names called, and we're going to move on. Thank you. I did want to hear what your argument is and give you that opportunity. Denied. And so we are now going to start again out of respect. Mr. Rice, please answer the gentleman's question.
The worst thing that has happened to me is the best thing that has happened to Birmingham, Alabama. For the last 15 years, my pastime is studying the economic conditions of Birmingham, Alabama. I study policy. I study history. I've been trying to figure out why our communities look the way they look. Why are they getting development deals over there? I've been looking at everything that has been happening in this city for the last 150 or so years. So that's something that's extremely unique to everyone else. The other thing, because of that $0 appraisal wiping out of my equity, it made me look around Inslee, Wylam, Pratt City, Eastlake, North Birmingham, and then I understood why these these communities look like this. They do not have anyone fighting for them to make sure they have fair
15
opportunity.
seconds.
Too many people have looked the other way. I will not look the other way when there's an opportunity to stand up for local business. I am committed to development across the city. I am committed to the underserved. I am committed to moving this city forward.
Time. Mr. Woodson. Yeah, did you get an opportunity to respond to the gentleman's question? Did we get everybody? We did? Okay, great. All right. We are going to wrap this up. It has been a very exciting time. And first of all, let's just say thank you so much to, before we wrap up, to please give it up for Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. After we do our last sessions, we will go and leave in prayer, and we will make sure that and thank you to our audio engineer. Hi, you're up there. Thank you, Mr. Tate. And thank you to the organizing group. This forum was organized by an internal group at this location. So give it up for those folks. And I would dare say that they're all over 50. And I think y'all did a good job, seniors. Good job, good job, good job. And also thank you to Miss Marcia Forrest, who has been on several forums. Also our timekeeper of record, Miss Sarah Beth Conkle. And to all of you who have come out and shared your day, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to the candidates for District 9 School Board and City Council, thank you so much for coming out. There are refreshments as we leave. Please take all that stuff with you. They don't want to retain any of that. And with that said, here's the final thing. And this will be rebroadcast at, and it's Bethel Pratt City on your Facebook. Is that your Facebook? Bethel Baptist Missionary Pratt City. Bethel Baptist Missionary Pratt City is where you can find this, and I'm sure Mr. Tate will be rebroadcasting this in several forums. Thanks to you on the live stream, and we will go in regard. Yeah, you don't have to tell me. We're going to make him out like the honorary mayor if he don't leave me alone. I mean, that's the, I love you. I love you, but you are special. It might have to be a special vote for you. That is my comment. I couldn't even resist, Wandolin, Brian, and Mr. Woodson, because you're so gracious to be here. Thank you. I've been knowing these folks for so long. Give them a hand. Y'all are amazing people to be out here. I've been there. I know it's hard. So we're going to start with parting shots from Mr. Africa, and then Ms. Gavan, and then Mr. Rice, and then Mr. Woodson. And thank you so much. You got 1 minute to give us your parting shot to this audience and this live stream audience. Why should you take the gavel and be the next mayor of Birmingham, Alabama?
I want to thank everybody that's been participating. It's been a very long road for me more than anybody else, because 12 months out of retirement, again, for something I did not want to do, but once I committed, I committed. And I'm not going to forget about those people that are making minimum wage. As I walked through this city and gone to the restaurants and fed my crew, that's the first thing on my thing. It's been there for a whole year. First thing, raising minimum wage from 18 to 50.
30 seconds.
From $7 to $15, $18 an hour. And I just hope that the common people at the post office, the foot soldiers, the city workers who I talked to,
15.
Small business people, and the police officers who know about the special plan I have for them will stand out. Get everybody out. It is very important. This race is about getting our city off of life support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Africa. Good luck to you. Ms. Gavan.
It's simple, and I'm going to close the way I've closed during this whole entire cycle. If you like what you have, keep it. Make it make sense, Birmingham. Trash, brush, litter, debris, dilapidated housing, overgrown lots, nowhere for our children to go, to congregate, to play, and to just even better themselves in many instances. 17 swimming pools, only 4 open. A $3 million contract advertised and let a few weeks ago, and we're at the end of the dormant season. Make it make sense. Homelessness running rampant through our communities.
30 seconds.
It's simple. $1.7 million went out the state. Birmingham Southern not open. I'm in contact with Dr. Williams almost every day, or his administration. So that will be a priority for Alabama A&M. With that being said, if you always do what you always done, you're always going to get what you always got. My plan
15.
is for crime reduction, municipal court reform, education, transportation, better jobs, better neighborhoods. Listen, better city services, better crime prevention programs, and most importantly, to have a relationship with you and to allow you, the citizens, to be true stakeholders. Vote State Representative Wandalyn Lee Gavan, Mayor of the City of Birmingham. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gavan. Good luck. Mr. Brian K. Rice, candidate for mayor.
For those who have given up on the idea of voting, I understand why. When you can send documents to city councilors, all the way up to Congress, and they look the other way. When you look at your communities, and your communities are struggling, poverty is everywhere, no development anywhere near you, I understand why. I want you to vote for someone different. Do not re-vote the politician back in who has legislated your failure, who have approved your failure. Vote for someone who is committed to making sure they will fight for you to the end. So please vote. For those who are elected, who usually vote, vote for someone different. You know the city is failing you. Vote for someone who is committed to development regardless of the relationships that was previously made. I am not bought. You cannot buy me. The principles of my father is too strong, and I am committed to excellence in the city of Birmingham. Vote Brian K. Rice.
Thank you. Tight shot, tight shots. And our last, but not least, our final words will be heard from candidate Frank Woodson.
I think we had 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Judgment's a big part of leadership. Judgment. Should I do something or should I not do it? When should I do it? That's judgment. I got involved because right now we have a Birmingham that's holding on by fingernails, period. 66 of our 99 neighborhoods have lost population and are in decline or in a state of collapse. Tommy Tuberville will probably be our next governor.
30 seconds.
And let me say this. When you study policy, here's what you know. That Birmingham has already violated the policy, the standards set by the state, in order for that police department to be taken over. It's just a matter of execution, and nobody's done anything
15.
about it. We're going to have to move fast. We're going to have about 10 to 12 months. And you're going to need a proven leader to get us through this situation. I will be that leader.
Time.
And I won't let you down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodson, and thanks to all our candidates. Give it up for them today. The two had to scoot out. And it's been a long time since and the reason why y'all been here a little longer is because this congregation of records says it's been a long time since somebody has visited them. So they wanted to keep you a little extra, but thank you so much for your time today. We're going to hear from Dr. Larry McCree. I'm Sheila Smoot. Thank you for having me. I love being in Bethel. Thank you so much. Thanks to my great husband, and he will remain unnamed on this broadcast. Dr. Larry McCree, Jr., pastor of this great church, PhD for real. He just got his PhD from Vanderbilt. So you're dealing with the doctor. Okay, let's do it. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Miss Sheila. Will you give her a hand, please, for an excellent job today? And thank you all for coming out. Thank you all who joined us online. And I want to thank all of the candidates who participated for engaging with civility, with class, with dignity as they engage one another. Thank you all so much. God bless you, and we encourage everyone to make sure you vote on Election Day. God bless you all, and thank you so much for joining.